Are you ready for a Labor Day getaway? I am, and the answer should be yes. Millions of us will be hitting the road this weekend for one last gasp of summer. And guess what? Gas is the cheapest it has been in years. Let's talk about what's going on with gas and oil with Robert Sinclair from AAA. Robert, always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Gas prices very, very cheap this holiday weekend.
Yeah, lowest, $2.83 last year, or $2.57 this year, lowest since 2016. Crude oil is cheap. There's lots of gasoline, lots of crude oil around. And we anticipate that it'll get cheaper because we're switching over to summer blends of winter blends of gasoline beginning September 15th. But Hurricane Dorian is the big X factor. If that thing hits the Gulf Coast, it'll be, all bets are off.
How many people do you think will hit the road this weekend? And what does it say about the economy?
Well, we didn't do projections for Labor Day this year, but Memorial Day was 43 million, July 4th was 49 million, so I think it'll be somewhere in the high 40s. And it says the economy is good. When people have extra money in their pocket, one of the things that they do is take a trip.
That is for sure. And you mentioned Hurricane Dorian. We're all keeping a close eye on that. What would that mean if it strikes in the middle of Florida? What does that mean to gas prices?
Well, in the middle of Florida, Florida is very unique in that all of its gasoline is delivered by maritime delivery by barge or tanker. So when the weather is bad, barges and tankers can't sail. So that's why we see prices skyrocket in Florida. But also there are about 185 offshore oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico, and the breadbasket of oil manufacturing and refining is in the Gulf Coast. So if a storm hits that area like Harvey did a couple of years ago, you can see gasoline prices go up 25 to 30 cents a gallon.
Would that just be in Florida, or is that nationwide?
That would probably be nationwide, but mostly on the East Coast. The Gulf Coast exists to serve the eastern seaboard, and a lot of pipelines going from that area. And the storm has the possibility of high winds of knocking refineries offline, but also knocking on electricity that powers the pumps for all those pipelines going from the Gulf Coast up the eastern seaboard.
Getting outside of Labor Day, what is the overall outlook for gas prices as we look towards the second half of the year?
Probably going down. There's lots of crude oil around. There are new refineries in China and Asia, and that leads to a lot of product coming from that area of the world to the West Coast. We're getting a lot of product coming from Europe, but also the United States is now probably the #1 oil producer in the world, upwards of 12 million barrels per day. That's more than 2 million from just a couple of years ago. So we are swimming in crude oil, and because of that, we think gasoline prices will continue to go down.
I'm sure you're watching a lot of the headlines on the trade war front. Now, China will be hitting oil imports with a tariff. What does that mean for oil prices?
Well, it really depends. I think that in the global market, it might not have much effect with the United States producing so much. The thing I worry about is a slowdown in the economy. That will mean gasoline prices will probably go down. When the economy is slower, we need less of the petroleum and distillate products, and so prices get cheaper. But that's not a good scenario. I mean, cheaper gasoline is usually good, but not under those circumstances.
We don't want to see it back to $1 a gallon, right?
No, not under the circumstances of a slow economy.
And before we let you go, what's your best advice to people hitting the road this weekend? They probably should have left already, right?
Yes, they should have. The traffic is going to be murder. And I would just say travel at a time outside of those when most people will travel, which will be today after 5, leaving, and coming back Sunday between 6 p.m. and midnight. I say get up early tomorrow morning.
How come you're still here?
I'm not going anywhere.